In previous thing, I already told you, we created one email application and we are proceeding with that part. So what we have done here is we created one index.jsp. If you want to check whether how it's looking or anything, what you can do, you can just go here, you can check here the options, and you can check for that purpose where web servers or is configured. If web servers are not configured, uh, you have to check for the web server configuration for that purpose. So currently no service is running for me, so if you want to check, you can go to the settings and you have to check for the server purpose, as this is for JSP page. So you go to the servers. So you can check for that here also. So you can check for this. So this is our JSP, nothing but so JSP file, which is form method to send one email application with some table size, and I'm adding some here. So remember, this is OP Go is just from this mail client. So this is my class where all the servlets are going to work. So this is my class I already preferred, or I already told you about this. So in this class, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create one method to handle request and response, everything. So what I'm going to do is now is, once this is constructor is closed, I'm going to create one method to handle request and response. Okay, so what is the handling request or response inside any class of HTTP servlet? I need to get two methods, if you know, do post and do get, which are very popular. But in such case, there is no required like do post method, because I'm not forwarding anything or I'm not doing any complex application. I'm proceeding with only do get. So what I can do, protected, you can use as public also, but remember why I'm giving protected. Void do get, this is the method, basically do get, and inside this do get, what I'm going to do is HTTP, you can say servlet, I can choose for response and everything. So HTTP response, I'm going to add response. Okay, then what I'm going to mention is here, so let me do one thing here, HTTP servlet, it's not HTTP response only, HTTP servlet response. So I forgot to add HTTP, it's a servlet response. So servlet response, I need to add HTTP servlet request also. So you can check for your HTTP servlet request. So what I can do, I can close this also because it's no longer required Java library. And we are done. Yes, but now I need to handle with request dispatcher and these also. So let me do one thing, let me minimize this so I can display this all. So if you know, there is one request dispatcher, so you can prefer any name here. As I told you, I'm going with RD, which is very common in request dispatcher. So it's a request dot get request dispatcher, so it's basically going to fetch the string part. So which string part is going to do is index. So index.jsp. Now we are done with this. So what is going to do, it is going to fetch all the data as a string format from index.jsp. So this is basically, you can say, the location of my index.jsp I am providing. So remember, always handle any exceptions. So what exceptions you might found here is, first is servlet exception. Servlet exception, Java X servlet exception. Plus, if I am not providing input and output, IO exception. So that's it I'm going to handle here. So now why I'm handling here, sometimes you may not get any exception here, or you may not get any error, but by the user, if I'm not providing any input output, then this will not proceed. So for that purpose I'm putting this exception, I'm handling the exception to print that part. Then rd forward response, request response, uh, response. So I'm going to handle this request and response. So this is just a method to do anything. So why it's posting me error is, okay, first I will get request and then I will get response. So I made one error here, very small error. Now this is done, because remember, in the rd.forward, first is request then response. There is no first response from the server, first is request always. So I will put here first is always request, any servlet part. So this is the servlet, but remember, this is just a getting part, or we can say fetching data. If I want to put any message, I also needed one do post method. Remember, while posting any message, I need one post method here. So I will put here get method. So let me put one thing here is method to print servlet message to page. So this is post method. Similar thing, protected void do post, if you know, http servlet response. So request, so let me do one thing here, let me copy this part because it's as it is, no need to change anything. The do post and do get method remains same, and it throws this again, IO exception and everything. So why it's throwing IO exception, I will tell you. While developing any application, you may find that part. So what is going to ask here, it will ask, or what is going to fetch, it is going to fetch some data. So which data? String email first. So if you know request dot get, let me put get parameter. If you know the thing, this get parameter as a string, it's going to fetch string as email is going to fetch. So let me copy these things again and again. Let me tell you what I'm going to do is, so this for this, then in this is just to send email, which receivers email, then subject. For this purpose I'm going to put here subject is basically nothing but your title of your email, and body, so you can put anything here. I am putting as a message here, message, and the string is also message. So which are these strings? Email, subjects, and if you don't know, let me show you. While putting this, I gives the name here. This is email, to fetch email, subject and message. So I created a connection here and I am now fetching this data as my everything. So let me do one thing. I can create one operation thing here also. So let me tell you why I am putting operation. Because while entering and accepting that in email application, once you put that part request dot get parameter and its operation. So why I'm mentioning operation here? Semicolon. Let me show you operation. These operations. So I need to create this op go and everything also now. So these are done, but email op go, which is basically send thing here, dot equals, which is basically going to equals ignore case. It is going to ignore the cases. Op, which is basically this op. If the case is higher, don't put that much on that part. Now I'm going to set some messaging thing here, then I'm putting some things here. So let me just to copy these things and I will tell you what is the significance of this and what I'm going to do here. Let me copy these things. Let me put this. So I haven't created this part sending mail. So what is going to do, I'm going to create one email message class here which is going to handle set to, set subject, set message type part here, which is basically HTML message I'm going to mention here. So all the things is consist in this email message part with email utility, and it's going to send that message. So it's related to all these part, but I haven't mentioned this part. So let me do one thing is, let me handle this first, which is basically request set attribute, request dot set attribute. First is string is message, and what I'm going to mention is here is mail has been sent successfully. So once this is sent, what it will be do, it will print this in that HTML part, or we can say JSP part. So I'm going to do this part later, but I just copied this and I already created this part. I will tell you what is the significance of this later. It is the main function to send any email here. So this is done in if loop. Now let me handle request dispatcher rd is equal to request dot get request dispatcher, which is basically string. Index.jsp is just that location, which is a single location I'm going to prefer, and rd dot forward request slash response. So now we are done with this mail client. So mail client handling is very simple. It will ask for and fetch the data. Handling that JSP part, it will handle that part. This email message is going to work with mail client. So considering, if I told you earlier how my SMTP is going to work, I will tell you later. But what this class is just doing, it's just like act as a fetching the data from that JSP file, because we are putting in JSP, but we as a user we know that that we are putting in that mail client, but we don't know how the backend works actually. So that's the backend part. First this mail client going to fetch data. In further tutorials I am going to tell you how I am going to create. I am explaining the SMTP port also, how it's going to work, each and everything. Plus I am using here as Gmail as my SMTP. I am again telling you, if you are familiar with other SMTP services, there are a lot of SMTP services available on the internet. You can check through. Free SMTP services also works, so you can use that part also, but I'm going with Gmail. Hope you understand this. Thank you.